Guys, thank you so much. I don't think words could really say how proud we are to be here today and how long we've been waiting to come here and talk to you about this. This is a great event. Thank you so much for joining us remotely and here in Montreal for this great broadcast. My name is Yannick Brunet. I'm Director of Sales for North America, or for the Americas now, I guess.
And I'm Greg Harmon. I'm a Regional Sales Manager for Kantech.
And together with us here today, typically you see us, the guys, the salespeople, and the people that you interact with most of the time. But we wanted to take this opportunity today to bring in the people that actually get this stuff done, A lot of times you talk to us and you think, this Yannick guy, he's the voice, he's the face, he's the Kantech. But really, those people here in the front row are the people that create all of that great stuff that we show you guys. And so today we're going to take this time together to give you a little bit of an update on where we are with Kantech, and as well as some exciting new product. Over the last couple of years, we really changed the way we look at product development and really put a lot of emphasis in the user experience. Well, really, at the end of the day, what is important to us is that we give you a superior product that is simplified and that gives you the best possible experience when you deal with it. Now, for you guys out there, it started when we launched Enrollment Go. It's already been over a couple of years, and Enrollment Go is this Android Apple product that fits on the phone or the tablet. And what this did for us is it gave us an amazing tool for the end users to really be in touch with their system any time of the day, any time of the night, and really empower them with a great solution.
Enrollment Go is an amazing sales tool. It's definitely the #1 sales tool that I use. When we go in, we deliver demonstrations to end users. It is the #1 thing that closes business for Kantech, and it's the #1 thing that drives sales for us. We give them the application, we give them the mobile app, and they'll take it out and they'll instinctively be able to lock and unlock a door. And they'll instinctively be able to run a report. They'll instinctively be able to disable a user in the database. It's absolutely amazing. They feel empowered, and it's a great resource for salespeople. If you're not using this to sell Kantech today as a salesperson, you definitely should be.
Yeah. So Enrollment Go, it was great for us. And then after that, what we did is we came out with Enrollment Web. So Enrollment Web for us was sort of that next iteration of a thin client, and really we wanted to deliver something that was easy to deploy, very, very simple to deploy. In fact, one click of a button gets that done. And also provide a very rich user experience. Now that's the problem. And before, when we looked at HTML web pages and products like that, we felt like something was missing. It didn't really convey what we were trying to convey from a user experience standpoint. So what these guys here put together for us is they put together an applet that would download automatically onto your PC after you click a link that allows you to install a software that has the same power as a thick client, but the ability to be deployed very simply. And in fact, every single time a customer connects to their system, if there has been an update done, the system will update the application automatically without having to roll a truck on site. So that was pretty good. Now, what was great about that too, and exciting for us at Kantech, is we've been doing access control for over 30 years. In fact, some of the people here in the room have been developing access control controllers for over 30 years. The KT-1, 30 years old. And you know what? It still works today. In fact, we still sell it today. You guys are still buying it today. Now think of any other piece of technology that is 30 years old that could have been installed 30 years ago. You change a little chip, a little EEPROM, and all of a sudden it's compatible with a mobile app. I don't think I've ever seen that, not just in the security industry, but just in the world in general. So with Enrollment Web, what was great is we've developed an interface there that would give us the ability to rethink everything. From a software development standpoint, typically what happens is when you create a new feature, you try to figure out, okay, where are we going to put this new button, right? So you take the button and you put it where it fits. It should be in this page. We can't move the page too much because we have people that are used to using the software. We don't want to confuse them, so we got to keep it the same. And over 30 years, there's a lot of buttons on the page. that page becomes very difficult to maneuver and understand for the people that just come in 30 years later looking at an interface. So EntroPass Web here gave us the ability to sit down and go, okay, we've learned how to do this for a while now. Let's just forget all about that, start fresh. And EntroPass Web for us was the ability to just go from a blank canvas and say, what did we learn? And instead of creating a hierarchy menu like we've always done, like most softwares, the way they're built, we've decided to make it a role-based software. And what I mean by that is an operator has its own name up there. Hey, I'm an operator. I'll click here, see what happens. And then we put the 5, 6 things there that an operator should do. You don't have to drill down and know where the thing is before they try and find it. And then you have the administrator of the system. So that administrator then, we can turn off all the other menus and only leave those menus up that are for that person. So EntroPass Web was really another great step in the right direction.
Yeah, so when you look at the interface, I mean, that solves a lot of the problems. I mean, when people look at an access control platform, they're typically intimidated by all of the buttons and everything you can see or do. So solving the user experience from an interface perspective was definitely a big key. But we took it a step further with Hatrix. So when you look at the other pain points that people experience with access control, they revolve around PCs crashing and having to do software updates and software being out of date and all that sort of stuff. That infrastructure and managing that infrastructure can be extremely time-consuming and extremely frustrating for end users. So we came out with Hatrix, and that is our cloud-based access control platform, and it's really exploded for us. If we look at our cloud-based platform, I mean, we've only been online with it for a few years, and we're already at 19,000 doors.
So again, we're trying to bring a different user experience to the people that use the system every single day. So after we've done that, looked after the end users, looked after the people that deploy systems, we decided, okay, well, let's look at other things we could do to bring the ultimate user experience, and really created new kits. And the kits are there to make it simpler for the people that are involved in the selling and the promotion of the systems. We have a starter kit right there, and that starter kit would be everything you need to start with your software, your controller, few readers, reader battery, and you're ready for your first few doors. And then if you actually sell a system that's bigger than that, which we certainly hope you might, you have the expansion kit. In that expansion kit right there will provide you with the ability to expand the system. And then we've created a third series of kit, which is the accessorize part. So with these 3 types of part numbers, you could create any size system you want with most of the accessories you're going to need on the doors. So it makes it very simple for people to put quotations together. It makes it very simple for end users to understand what they're buying. And it makes it very, very simple from a supply chain standpoint to have the right product at the right time anywhere you are. So again, we're trying to, every time you touch us, you touch the Kantech product line, you have a good user experience. Thank you. So what's missing? There's a piece they're missing. There's people. I talked about the end users. I talked about the salespeople. We talked about the supply chain aspect of things. Who didn't we cover? What piece was missing?
What about the technicians?
How about the techs? How about those guys? You know, we sell the stuff, they put it on the wall. And what we say usually is, all you got to do. All you got to do is this. Well, those technicians are the ones actually delivering those promises we're making, right? So we decided we're going to rethink how we're doing access control and come up with this brand new product. Introducing the KT-1.
Okay, so I'm going to start out by giving you guys a bit of an overview of the KT-1, some of the specifications around it. And we will start. It is a single door IP controller that does support PoE and PoE+. There are 2 reader ports on it, so you can do true read in and out on it. Out of those, from that power supply, from that PoE, we can do 250 milliamps out of the lock output, dedicated lock output, by the way, 750 milliamps out of PoE+, or using a 12-volt power supply. Kantech's philosophy has always been no panel left behind. Any panel that we've ever made, as Yannick talked about, I mean, the one that we made 30 years ago is still compatible. You can use a mobile app and you can lock and unlock a door from a 30-year-old panel. It's amazing. So we use the same philosophy with the KT-1. Any existing KT-400 loops, any existing KT-300 or KT-100 loops, you can put this right in that loop, right through the 485 connection. It's also compatible with all of our software platforms, especially the latest version of Entropass is version 6.02. So they're all compatible, Special Edition, Corporate Edition, Global Edition, and Hatrix. Okay. It also has built into it all the power and functionality, same firmware of the KT-400, and with it all of the same security. So the security when you're logging in and making changes to your controller, it's just as secure as the KT-400, 128-bit AES encryption. Now for the very exciting stuff. 4 inputs on board, 2 relays, an RS-485 connection.
All right, listen, thank you, Greg, but really, we've heard this pitch before. I mean, you go to ISC or as is, you see 12 of those in every aisle. It's an IP controller, we get it. But this is nothing special. All of that is important, and it's something that is needed, I get it. But let's really talk about what's cool and exciting here. What is different? This is what everybody else does. Okay, we got that, right? We got it. So we're going to talk about really how this one is different from anyone else's. So the first thing we're going to start with is we've created this controller to have a capacitive touch button from the front. How could we use that? Right? Could become a Rex, could become an input to trigger some sort of integration, turn lights on, disarm an alarm system, whatever you guys want to do with that. Okay, cool. No big cheers or applause so far. Second, well, we're going to actually use this button for the enrollment of this controller onto the software. Right there, push the button. We'll go into details, and we'll even do a demo later for you on that one. And of course, we can enroll all the other controllers as well through this button. So now we've talked about the guy that installs it. He puts it on the wall, or the girl, puts it on the wall, gets it done, all good. From a technician standpoint, that makes it very simple. How about the service guy? The guy that's called after the fact, the guy that comes in to save the day once the door's not working anymore. They show up to this controller and go, okay, well, button's on, reader's on, what's going on? Door's not working, right? So what we've done is this button, once the system is enrolled and ready to rock and roll, you press it, and all of a sudden, you get diagnostics right there. Translucent front will let you see what's going on. Are we talking to the software? Is the IP port communicating? Do we have the lock output engaged, the relay output engaged, and all of that right there from that one button? So why don't you take us through the enrollment part?
Sure. The enrollment part of the KT-1 is amazing, and it's very simple. That Kantech capacitive touchscreen shield, when we hold it down for 6 seconds, the controller goes into an enrollment mode. What it does is it scans the network, it scans the local area network, and it finds Entropass. So if Entropass is on the local area network, it will find it. And within the interface, you'll get a little icon that lets you know that there's a KT-1 ready to come online. It's very simple. So when that icon comes up, it really just asks you to name the door and hit save, and your controller's online. It literally takes seconds. It's extremely simple.
And that works great from a local area network, right? So you press the button, it broadcasts out, the software sees that, we're ready to go. When you're dealing with a wide area network, if you can't really scream in the internet and talk to every single thing on the internet. So what we can do there is we provided you with tools where you can actually put in a phone home address or a DNS, an IP address, whatever, so that you can actually reach out to the internet into a Hatrix server or some other software that might be a remote software. So, of course, now that makes it a little bit more complicated. It's no longer you press a button, because now you can't scream through the internet. You can't broadcast it everywhere in the world. But you found the place you wanted to connect. You actually connected to that. You enrolled it. What happens next?
So once your first controller is communicating out over the internet and it's found your Hatrix implementation or it's found your remote Entropass server, You've got your KT-1 that's connected and communicating with it. You want to put another KT-1 on that local area network. It's very simple. You've got your KT-1 that's already enrolled. You hold the K shield down for 6 seconds. It becomes a head-end enrollment controller. Then you can go to any other controller on the network and hold it down for 6 seconds. Now when it starts scanning the network looking for EntroPass, it's going to find another KT-1. And it will route through the KT-1 out over the internet to wherever your server might be. Makes it very, very easy. I mean, we're not connecting laptops to controllers anymore or anything like that. It's extremely simple to set this up.
And if you click on the clicker, we have nice pictures that show that.
There are, yes, I forget to click sometimes. I apologize.
All good. All good. So now let's look at the different flavors of KT-1 we've put together for you guys. So one, we have this version right here, which is the single gang installation model. So this one here is meant to be installed close to the door on a single gang box. And what we've done is we're going to show you an exploded view here. Greg is very happy holding this controller. I'll go to the next slide.
You can only do one thing at a time.
Yeah, that's right. Multitasking, not so much. So we have this controller right there with the backplate. That backplate goes right on to the single gang box. It fits right on there. The next piece right in front of it is a little connector device. That connector device is green wire, red wire, blue jacket wire. You know, it's very simple. It shows right there where you should connect your reader, your lock output, and all that good stuff. The good news here, and what's really different, is that then you take this thing and you clip it on to that black plate that is tied to the single gang box. And once you've done that, you'll never have to see that wire again. I've been on sites where we've had issues and we've had to troubleshoot things. And of course, the first time a good technician will create a really, really nice install, right? I can't do that. I'm just like a sales guy. But some of you guys do a great job at wiring it and making it look clean. By the second or third time you're in there, whoo, not looking so good. So typically what we see when we go on site, it's the spaghetti controller. So we try to eliminate spaghetti controllers. We put that in the back. And once it's clipped on, there's really nothing else to do with this. And really, all you have to do then is clip on the brains, the controller itself onto it, put on the cover. There's a optical temper switch at the bottom so that if people mess with it, we'll know. And if there ever was a problem, you just take off the controller, put a new one in, and you're ready to rock and roll. You don't have to do anything from a wiring standpoint. And that's not all.
So the KT-1M, thank you for clicking forward, by the way. The KT-1M, instead of having that clip-in module in the back where your wiring connects, you've got terminal strips along the side. So all of your terminals are here, all of the same terminals that you'd find on the back of the KT-1. The exception is there's also in the bottom left corner an RS-232 port. That RS-232 port allows us to integrate to our sister company, DSC. That integration is very powerful if you haven't sold it or if you haven't seen it before. What it enables us to do, one of the things it enables us to do is if we get to a door, if we have somebody get to a door in the morning and they present their badge, if they get into an area that's armed, typically they're getting entry delay and they have to disarm that alarm system. Though that person might not necessarily always have that code to disarm that alarm system. So what we can do is when that person gets to the door and they present their badge, if they are allowed access to the alarm system area, it'll disarm. If they're not allowed access into that area, it won't let them in. And so this significantly reduces false alarms.
Yeah, there's a bidirectional connectivity here where the access control controller is aware of the status of the alarm system. We also get all of those events back through the KT-1 or KT-400 connection into the security software to know exactly what's happening on site. Now, if you think about it from a wide deployment standpoint, so let's say a school board where you have a lot of different schools. In the past, what you might have had to do is dial into each school, change the codes, see if it's armed, disarm it, blah, blah, blah. All of that stuff is done very, very simply now from a Kantech standpoint. You save a new card, it has access to this door and this partition, done. It automatically updates all of the alarm systems down throughout the school board, and it makes it very, very easy. You could take those and put a nice pretty picture on a map and give access to your customer or give them the ability to arm, disarm alarm systems and things of that nature. So again, it's bringing the user experience to a new level through the integration of the KT-1. So we've talked about it a little bit. Greg mentioned that this required a new software. So in order for you to use the KT-1, you're going to have to download and utilize the 6.02 software, which is the software we're shipping right now. The Entropass 6.02 has a lot of great features, but in the interest of time, and I don't want to bore you to tears with small details, we'll talk about one, though. One that always came back to us from you guys, and we're really happy that we are able to implement now virtual sites. What virtual sites is the ability to take multiple loops, physical connections, and group them together into one bundle, so that when the end user programs a card, they don't have to program 6 different access levels because you, as a technician, decided to run 6 different cables because of the way the building was configured. So now, and it becomes even more important when you're dealing with a KT-1, single-door controller. If you have all of those coming in, you don't want to have a 12-door system with 12 access levels. That wouldn't have made any sense at all. With the virtual site, that problem goes away.
So what would, one question that we get all the time is what kind of applications are applicable for KT-1?
Well, it's pretty specific. We typically have, we've found, talking to you guys and through the feedback that we've gotten, that it works real well for the small applications. It works well for the medium-sized application. It works well for the larger IP-centric applications. It works well for hat-tricks as well.
So you're saying it basically works for everything?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So what's interesting here, and I've not had that happen a whole lot, is anytime I've talked to each and every one of you, and I see some faces here that I recognize from trade shows, I'd be talking about, hey, this is what we're thinking, KT-1, what do you think, this feature, that feature, da-da. And at the end, every single time, they would tell me, you know what, Yannick, this controller is exactly what I need for my customers. This controller will do what my customers want it to do, and that's the perfect type of controller. Every single one of them. Small, large, medium, hat-tricks, traditional, everyone. So really, at the end of the day, we feel the KT-1 is going to fill a void in the marketplace from a usability standpoint that has been left there for every type of customer we might have had. So at this point, I'd like to show you a clip we put together. Great job from our marketing department on that one. And in case we put you to sleep over the last 15 minutes, we could have just shown you that 2 minutes, it was done. But it would have made for a pretty short presentation. So what we're going to do here is enough with the flashy slides and the video and the music. We're actually going to live on the edge a little bit. We're going to enroll one right now, right in front of you. So let's do this. This could either be the greatest moment of my life or the biggest shame I've ever felt. So So Greg, why don't you just give me the serial number of the module or the MAC address right there. Tom, was that set up through IP, DNS, or?
Didn't we just finish talking about, I mean, all you need is an enrollment finger? Then we just have to hit the button?
Nothing. Oh.
Don't need anything?
And it just so happens that Greg brought his enrollment finger with him this morning. Comes in the kit.
Okay.
All right, so we're doing this right now. So cue time. We're going to time how long it takes for a couple of sales guy to get a controller going. Not that we've practiced it 6,000 times. And not only get the controller online and program, but also have a valid card read. Let's do it.
All right, let's do it. So I'm going to hold down the Kantech shield for 6 seconds. I hear my beep. It's a good sign.
Yeah, longest 6 seconds of my life right here. So now that the controller beeped, it broadcasted to the entire local area network here. Wow, that's a great picture. Thank you. I think that was about 30 pounds ago. So anyways, at the top there, you see the K shield at the top showing a 1, which means there's a door ready to be enrolled. You click on that, and then all you have to do is decide which site you're connected to, or type in the name of the site. Put in the name of the door. Of course, the door is always the front door, the first one we do. Then decide if you have a door contact and a Rex, and click Finish. Wow. Okay. So now we're done. We're done programming this thing. So the software will tell us, okay, we just added a new controller. There's a new controller in the enrollment list. Now at this point, the controller is broadcasting. The software is synchronizing with it. And I got some engineers shaking their heads at me right now, like, no, not at all. That's not at all what's happening. But whatever. Merci, Philippe. That's okay. But the gist of it is, the controller found the software found the controller again, loaded itself, rebooted it, and by the time I'm done doing all these things, the controller is ready to rock and roll. So we now have a loop communication restore. Let's present a card and see what happens.
So I'm going to take my card. I present it to the reader.
All right, so we have a card unknown. Let's right-click on that event, because again, from a user experience standpoint, we don't have to go through a bunch of different menus. So right-click on there and do an edit of the card. Now, we all know that people typically don't read manuals. I'm the first one to agree that I don't know why we put this together. And Patrick, that doesn't mean I don't want one on the next version, but what we've done is we put in the indications of where people should put the information in case they don't know. So right here, enter the name of the user. So the name is Tom G, because the name is so long. And then we have the card number, which is automatically populated, and then select an access level. Boom. Save. And by the time we run back to the controller, present a card, boom. Access granted. Woo! Mr. Lebrec. 2 minutes, 37 seconds, so 157 seconds. 157 seconds is the time it took to get the controller going, program it completely. Inputs, output, raises, all that stuff we don't care about. All done, programmed with a card, a valid read. Pretty amazing. And that was with me explaining to the world how this was going to be, right? So, in fact, we've been doing this for a while. We've shown this little presentation to a few people before to test it and see how it felt and all of that. And there's even people in Latin America that participated in a voice of customer survey we did. And you might even be listening right now. There's people there that are business owners that are not technicians. They've never seen a KT-1 before, never seen a controller, a Kantech controller before. We brought them up front. We got them through this, and they were able to get it done under 2 minutes every single time. In fact, the record holder so far, the official record holder, is right here in this room, Scott McNulty, who's a product manager on this product. Scott was able to enroll it in 1 minute 14 seconds. Minute 14 is the official time. Now, Tom has told us that he's been able to do it under 1 minute, but there's nobody around, so we're not going to even talk about that. Right? I guess I just did. So really, at the end of the day, we're really excited. It works well, and it worked.
It worked.
Fist bump. Woo. The best thing about this is that it is, you got it? It's available now. So it's available now. We've been working real hard in getting stock. Oh, it's my first order. Well, guys, I got to go. I got to take this. Thank you very much for your time.